Welcome to Biz Tips with Jenny Rice, bringing you insights from real entrepreneurs. No fluff, just raw, practical strategies from those who've been in the trenches. Whether you're launching, scaling, or pivoting, this podcast is your backstage pass to lessons, successes, and game-changing tips. Get ready to learn, take action, and level up. Let's dive in with our next guest.
Hi, this is Jenny Rice with AI Biz Tips podcast. I'm so very excited about our guest today. We have Juan Carlos Pleitez. Welcome, Juan Carlos, from High AI, founder of High AI. So welcome.
Hi, how are you, Jenny? Thank you
Sure.
for having me.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have you. So why don't you start a little bit about your background and what brought you to where you are today?
My entire career has been uh, within the biopharma world. I worked from a concept in the lab all the way through marketing a treatment for patients. Like I said, I started in the lab doing research, but I kind of quickly realized that I had a passion for connecting the science with the business strategy and connecting them to a patient. So after a couple of years in the lab, I actually spent over 15 years in functions in companies like Gilead, Merck, EMD Serono, Emergent Biosolutions, make multi-billion dollar decisions. But my world within those companies was data, understanding the market dynamics, forecasting the demand, uh, painting a clear picture to future executives. And I saw at every stage from clinical to sales that this was a constant, the critical need to bridge the gap between the science and the commercial reality.
Mm.
So, I did that for several years. I moved here to the Bay Area not so long ago, right before the pandemic. And, while being here, being surrounded by innovation, especially with AI, something became clear to me. I can take my deep industry knowledge and combine it with the power of AI to solve the exact challenges I've been tackling for the last 15 years.
Mm.
That's what led me here. I decided to open my consulting firm, focus on solutions that help people that had my roles or have my roles, you know, I make those decisions a little bit quicker, get there faster. But also on a personal note, I'm a huge believer on gaining perspective. I once took a 2 year sabbatical to travel the world. I did everything from winemaking to surfing to volunteering to helping families build music studios. And that experience taught me how to connect with different people and how to solve problems for different people without actually having to go through the grind of pain and suffering that comes with a very boring job. So that opened my mind to be willing to take this risk and start this new career path.
That's amazing. What a great story. And the fact that you were immersed in that business and I love what you said. You saw, from planning to business to with the consumer, with the client, the patients, and things like that. You saw the whole thing and how important data was, right? To decision making, to making things go quickly and things like that. But then you took it to an extra level because then you saw how AI can support that process. And you said it took weeks to get that information, and now you've condensed it to even shorter time frames, right?
Correct.
That's really exciting. And so I'm assuming you work with biotech companies, like you said, people that were in your roles to help them be more efficient with their data analysis, their data gathering, their data stats, and things like that, right?
Correct. I work a lot with early stage biotech companies mostly because they don't have the manpower to do that work or they don't have the budget to hire a very prestiged consulting firm or actually buy some of the reports that are actually tens of thousands of dollars. So they have that challenge, and most of them don't have the expertise to actually do it themselves. So that is my target market, biotechs, digital health, and so on.
And then do you have like a algorithm and application that they use, or do you sort of go in as a functional role to help them do it? How does your business structure work?
Yeah. So, my service is called Terasite, which serves under my high AI consulting umbrella. So, I just kind of gonna paint you a picture so you can help your listeners, right? So, you know, you imagine you poured hours of work and days, weeks into coming up with a solution and developing it and having this particular solution, get some funding to move it forward, right? You step into a meeting with executives or investors, you explain it brilliantly, and then the first questions hit. Who is this for? What's the competition? Why are we doing this again? Or the worst one is, who's going to pay for this?
Mhm.
So, normally there's that huge mismatch. So with the biotech innovators, they focus a lot on the science and their solution, but investors and partners want their market validation and commercial opportunity. And that's exactly what I built as an AI platform. So essentially, it's a platform called Terasite that, as I mentioned, it's AI powered. Just think about it like a market analyst that loves doing desk research, market research, goes through thousands of websites trying to look at for that number, and it does it in minutes. And it grabs that, synthesizes it, and provides a nice report of all the different sections that you'll be interested on regarding the biotech industry. The patient profile, the patient journey, what they go through as a treatment algorithm, any challenges with insurance companies, anything that's coming in the market, that's been in the market, what's unmet needs, all those different components that you need to research and spend weeks doing research. We're down to minutes. 15
Wow.
minutes is as long as it will take. But all you gotta do is tell it, hey, I have this disease for this patient, and it'll build it for you.
That's amazing. And
Yeah,
I love what you said. They're in a meeting, they're proposing a new solution, a new offer, and these questions come back. So then this person who's presenting that could anticipate those questions and be prepared with the answers too, which looks really good. Hey, good question. Let me give you the answer to that one, right? Right in the presentation itself. Wonderful.
exactly. It's a big challenge sometimes because, and I'm not gonna lie, I face it myself. I talk a lot about my platform, how it's working, why it's really good. And I forget to say, well, this is for this person or this is for that company. And there's multiple uses. Oh, we can also use it for digital health. We can use it for these other things, right? So it's even I do it. Of course, you know, it's kind of hard to follow your own advice sometimes. So
Yeah, for sure.
stickies all over the place telling me about it, post-its and whatnot. But it is just part of what we do as innovators, as creators, and it's just giving you that extra help so you can take a step back, look at where it goes, and how you're going
Yeah.
to change the world.
Well, that and I find a lot of people in their silo roles, they look at their little piece of the pie, not realizing that it's a bigger picture there. There's the whole company, there's the worldwide global need, there's the strategy, there's the research, there's the cost effective investment, like you said, all those other portions where this tool can help them anticipate things that they need to make sure they analyze before they go even in to give a solution, right? Which is really
Exactly.
helpful. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
so.
It,
So,
it is interesting for me. Sometimes I have people that are fairly well into clinical development that haven't really done this work thoroughly. And sometimes I ask them a very simple question. So, who's your target patient, right? Normally with biotech and pharma, right? You might be taking a medication, like let's say, your back hurts and you start drinking some Tylenol because, it's over the counter, it's available. It works most of the time, but after that, then you go to the doctor and then they give you medication. And then after that, you go to another doctor or the same doctor and they give you another medication. And now you're going through a patient journey there. So when I tell them, hey, who's this for? What's the patient look like? They just say, oh, someone with back pain, right? I'm like,
mm,
okay, well, no, you have to give me a little bit more context because that can be anyone. Like I can go to the gym this morning and pull my back, right? So it doesn't really sit. It has to be
mm,
more focused. And then they realize it and they have to readjust. And the worst thing you want to do is kind of start thinking about readjustment when you invested
when
$30
you're,
million into a
yeah,
trial.
yeah,
And
exactly.
this was the wrong patient. That
Mm,
does not sit well. for investors or for the innovator itself, because you have to start all over most of the time.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to get them early so they can have this information, and that's been the issue. They haven't had that information readily available as we do now. So
Right.
let's take advantage of the internet. It's not all about memes or things like that.
Hmm.
Learn from it, grab information, and let's use AI to help us digest it so we can make strategic decisions.
Absolutely, absolutely. And do your analysis before you make those decisions so you're really clear. And I love what you said is that if you don't know your target, who your target patient is, then it's almost garbage in, garbage out, right? You need to be really clear. And I really believe, and tell me what you think about AI is only as good as the information you provide it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is actually one of my biggest tips. Learn how to talk to AI. Many people just use it like a search engine, and that doesn't really work like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was working on a white paper yesterday for a client of mine, and they wrote it very narrative, very, very intellectual. And I'm like, your target audience is not at this level. We need to simplify it. And so I use ChatGPT to help me with redoing that. And I very quickly realized I didn't give it enough parameters of what I was looking for, And so I went back, and so it's a reminder to me to say, what really do I want in there? And so I had to go through iterations to say, no, please add this, change this, do this, as I saw the outputs. But it's really important that you really think of what is it really you want to look for and putting in those prompts accordingly, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is easy to go down that rabbit hole. Um, as probably you've lived it a couple times. Yeah, AI is AI, and that's why I call my consulting high AI. It's not just saying
Mm.
welcome AI, it's human intelligence and artificial intelligence.
Oh,
It's
I love
every
it.
word there. So,
Yeah.
um, it's just to make us, make our lives easier. Email was supposed to do that, then it became a burden. And now when you write an email, it takes you longer to draft it. Not anymore. Let's use AI, say your point, clean it up,
Yeah.
revise. There you go.
Yeah.
But
Much
the
quicker.
initial creativity comes from the human side.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because you need AI can give you good information, but you still need that human element to analyze. Is this like I did with my white paper? No, no, it's missing these points. No, no, we have to do that. And AI can't do that thinking for you, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah. So, what are some of the challenges you face as a AI type of business in growing and expanding? Do you use AI to help you with your own business marketing and strategy?
Yes, so for the business strategy, it helped me on actually doing the same type of research that I'm doing now, right? Thinking about, how many biotech companies are out there, right? As a forecaster, I am drawn to that number. Okay, what's the forecast? What's the number we need to hit, right? So thinking about how many biotech companies are there in any given year, companies don't succeed all the time. Some new ones come out, a new discovery happened, and we need to pop up a new biotech. So with that said, I had to do some research. I needed to be more methodical about it, not just look at a report that says, oh, there's 30,000 biotech companies. Okay, that doesn't help me much.
Mm,
I want to know how many new companies normally come in, where can I get that information, or if anything, even better, what type of tool from AI that I can use that can scrape that site for me. And whenever I ask a question, hey, what are the new companies coming out or that got funding, etc., I don't have to go to the website, grab it, copy paste it. No, it gives me all the information.
that's great.
And that takes a lot of time, and I can actually be more agile in my decision making and strategizing. So now I have my goal and say, okay, every year there's about 200 new biotech companies, and I need to get 15% of that. I have a number. That means I need to kind of work through that. Now, granted, it's not every new one, it's every new one 3+ years later. But I now have a time range. Now I know how to approach, and I can do my testing. And my testing, when it comes to digital marketing, of course, I cannot just send one message and hope it works. I have
You
to do
need
some
to, yeah.
messages and wording and emojis and colors, you know how it is.
Hmm.
So with that said, then I use AI to help me kind of do a lot of that work, rephrase it, change the tone, reorganize it, and it simplifies a lot of that work. And
Yeah.
strategy coming along as well, trying to hit those numbers. It helps me analyze the company as well on, okay, what are they working on? Who's the CEO? Are they a science-based CEO? Many of them are scientists, academics that now have a CEO role, or are they just a tenured CEO that, the board brought in because they need someone to get funding? And that's two different conversations you're going to have. And by having that really available, I can execute my strategy much more.
Right. Well, I think story, excuse me, storytelling for you would be great because you can tell them, say, imagine spending weeks, analyzing this data. Now you can do it in minutes. Like such a good story here. It's gonna take some
Exactly.
water.
Yeah, ironically, it's many of the big biotech CEOs that have experience and they've done this before, these early stage ones, and they know how to do this because they are doing other things and they know how much time
Mhm.
it takes and they know it takes a lot of time and effort. The interesting thing is I just tell them it is what it is that I do, how we use AI, and they're like, got it. This is brilliant. I love it.
No,
Yeah, let's
wonderful.
go forward, right? Because they know exactly what needs to be done. The scientist is the one that actually needs it the most because they don't know they're gonna need it until they get asked. And
Oh,
that is a whole different story. I have to tell them, hey, a story of it's kind of like selling insurance, right? You don't want to sell insurance on fear mongering, kind of like, oh, all this can happen to you, so you might want to get insurance. No, it's more about protecting your asset. It's making sure that, things like that don't cost more than it should from your pocket.
right.
So that's a whole
Yeah.
different story. So with them, you have to kind of take that approach on you not tell them a story of, hey, you're gonna fail in an inner investor meeting. It's more about, hey, how can you have many investor meetings, right? And move forward from that and be able to communicate this.
Yeah, absolutely. Very interesting. So as we end the podcast, do you have any tips for other, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and how they can integrate AI into their business?
Yeah, so actually, there's this great app that's called Plus AI. I love using it. We've all heard about death by PowerPoint. And my clients need to do that, and they spend time and time trying to put everything into a PowerPoint. That's our language in corporate America. So actually, a lot of my output that I have comes from Word documents. The reports obviously are more PDFs, things like that. Obviously, Word before, Excel spreadsheets, all those things. So I can actually grab these and put it in this platform, and I say, please make a presentation.
No way. That's
And it
amazing.
grabs all the details, it summarizes it. I can tell it how many slides, I can give it some instructions. I can, this is for an investor or this is just for an executive team. It will get the right tone. And I kid you not, in 5 minutes, you have a presentation done. Now,
The visuals and everything?
visuals, images, the charts are not necessarily 100% right because you need to, massage them a little bit.
Yeah,
But the sheet with the data is right there. So right click, look at the data. Okay, I'm gonna copy paste something else. I'm gonna change the color. I want it lines, not columns. You do your thing, you personalize it. But it comes 90% done. Uh,
wow.
so
What's
you
the
can
app called again?
plus AI.
Let's say I'm going to try that one out. I do
It, it's
presentations all the time.
it's a lifesaver, and you can choose your template or just use no template. It's great for my clients because as you know, I can send them a report, but then they need to put it on a PowerPoint. I give them that, and it doesn't take me any more effort than pressing a couple buttons, go grab some coffee, come back,
That's great. Yeah,
review, and send.
that's wonderful.
Um,
What a great tip.
yeah, and then one other one that I actually love to use is this is a very well-known company. It's Canva, right? They have
Yes,
they have it out there. It's just easier to make those images. Many people love to cook, but they don't know how to chop. They don't know how to make bread, all those cooking things. I'm one of those. I can come up with a great recipe, but you'll feel a little bit, you know, naive or, newbie kind of thing. Uh, this helps me kind of make
Yeah.
my recipe into a dish.
There we
So
go.
using
Yeah,
that.
that's a really good analogy. So it's almost there, but then Canva takes you to the end. And Canva, once you get to know it, is pretty intuitive, and so much more than you can do in PowerPoint too, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, I use Canva all the time too. I love it. Love it. Well, it's been really insightful to have you on here. I've learned something, and I love what you're doing and that you're providing a solution that has an impact on business decision making, you know, patient outreach and how they're getting their solutions to them quicker and faster and better without having to circle around and say we're down the wrong path, for example, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to keep on helping them out and, changing that world from no information to information for all.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, Juan Carlos, thank you so much for being a guest on this podcast.
No, thank you for having me. It's been great. Time flew by. I can't believe it's been over 20 minutes now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's amazing. Thank you for the invite, and I keep on wishing to be running into you.
Yes, no, it's been great. So this is Jenny Rice with AI Biz Tips podcast with Juan Carlos from High AI. So you said human intelligence and artificial intelligence. Love the name.
That's a wrap on this episode of Biz Tips. For more insights, join us online. We share exclusive tips, resources, and strategies to help you grow and scale your business. Until next time, keep building, innovating, and making an impact.